Hey, happy Monday, everyone. I hope you guys have had a great weekend. And thanks for showing up with me today. So, in today, we are still kind of motoring through our business tools section, our series. And today we're focused on tools we use to stay organized. So this is always, sorry, but a very necessary, but a very boring one. So I'm going to try to get through this as quickly and painlessly as possible. The thing that I think the most around tools to stay organized, to get organized, is really the more organized that you can be in business, the easier your workflow is, right? So it's really boring. I like to think about creating systems and the tools that we're going to use. I like to think about those as necessary evils that will help us to become more productive and to help our team too. So if we can scale what we do, if we can have everybody on the team knowing exactly where things are, I struggle, and I know that I've told you guys this too in the past, but I'm going to say it again. It took me a long time to get organized for business, and I still don't think that I'm really there. That's why I've hired other people and have other people help me out on the team who are more organized, who are more implementers, who are the type of people who know exactly where everything is. It was my really bad habit for a long time to just do things differently every single time. So every time I would work with a client, or every time I would even naming conventions, there's so many places where we can keep ourselves organized, and to just kind of save time and also keep things really streamlined so that you're able to, when you have new people come in, even for yourself, you know exactly where things are. So today I'm going to talk through a couple of the top level things that you need to think about when you're staying organized, both with yourself and with the team. Even if you're a solopreneur, there's only so much and there's only so far you can scale as a solopreneur. So I would assume that as you build your business and as you are trying to build your business, that you'll be hiring people at some point. And so start with that in mind. Keep things organized now so that when you have somebody come in, that kept me from hiring people, and still does in certain facets of the business that I'm continuously trying to clean up after years and years of bad habits. So learn from my mistakes. I'll always be transparent with you guys. One place that I haven't been very stellar is in keeping things organized. Financially, that was a big problem for a while, where it kept me from having a bookkeeper. It kept me from having an accountant because I felt like it was just so messy that it was too messy to pass off to somebody. And sometimes that's what happens to us and with our business and different parts of our business, is we feel like it's too messy, and we are nervous to hire it out, or we feel like we can't because then it takes all this extra time to clean it up. So anyway, just trying to inspire you to keep your stuff organized and have some systems in place. So when we're using tools to stay organized, there's kind of 3 levels that I want you to think about it. The one level is from the project level. So we'll talk about project management, databases. Number 2 is storage. Sometimes that could be, now one platform could do all 3 of these, or you could have different platforms for all 3. So number 1 is project management. Number 2 is storage, where you're going to keep everything in your business, where you're going to send people on the team when they need to go and find a file. Number 3 is communication. So how will you stay organized and communicate with everybody, the contractors that need to help, or the people on the team who are helping. So let's talk through some tools for all 3: project management, for storage, and communication. So I'm going to start with communication first, even though I said it last. Here you have a couple of choices for when you're running a team or you're working with contractors. So you can either I like to have everybody who's new on the team have a Brand Better email account. And now we're really in the weeds, but especially if they do any kind of like front facing thing, any kind of client facing thing, I want them to have a Brand Better email address, and I feel like that's worth paying for. I also think something about having a Brand Better email address and email for your business helps your contractors, especially if you're not hiring people like W-2 workers, you're hiring like freelancers and contractors. I want to help make sure that the people that work with us feel like they're a part of the team. And sometimes it can be as simple as having an email address or sharing that person on social media. So we want to foster a sense of being lined up with your business and being excited to work with you and work with your business. So you get to decide whether you're going to communicate with people just through their normal Gmail addresses or whether you are going to add them to your domain and have their own email addresses. So having like a way, I like that because it also, if the people on our team have a Brand Better email address, then it kind of separates out like the work that our contractors might do for other people and then the work that they do for us here. You get to decide whether email is going to be the main way that you communicate with people on the team. People also use Slack or maybe Google Messenger. So decide whether before you even start hiring people, if you have people on your team now, it'd be a good thing to just kind of think like, what is your preferred method of communicating with the team? So this is an important question. And if you're more introverted or if you're really busy, or you want to make sure that the way that your team can communicate with you is the way that you prefer. So if you don't want people texting you at all hours and you want to have like, this is the time, even if you're the boss, you want to have like, this is the time that I like knock off of work and I'm done. Then you want to keep it to email and not necessarily be texting back and forth. So you get to set the tone for how the communication and staying organized gets to go in your business. Now, we tried out Slack back in the day. So Slack is great for just kind of on the fly, just like chatting with people. It didn't really work for our team because most of us are kind of more on the introverted side and prefer to just be like working undisturbed. But emails back and forth didn't really work for us either because then things get lost in the inbox. And so what we did is we took all of our communication, let's say like 98% of our communication happens via Asana. And I'll show you behind the scenes of that in a minute because that's what we use for most of our communication and all of our project management. And that's the reason why I tell you and just kind of walk through everything that we did from the communication standpoint is because it's got to work for everybody, and it especially has to work for me because if I feel like I'm getting texted all the time by the team or they're getting texted by me all the time, it's not going to foster a great working sense. So it's good to have somebody's number in case, but actually use it in really urgent situations. Like if you need to make sure that somebody really sees a message, you can send them a ping and text them. But I think in general, and just because something like Slack or Messenger exists doesn't mean that we need to use it with our teams either. I like to show you how the feature of how you can use this in Asana, send messages. And what I like about having it in Asana from the communication standpoint is it keeps all of the messages right there. So I actually use my messages as a running to-do list too, because if I haven't processed a message, then it means that I need to get back to that person. So it's communications. Like I said, you got a couple options there. Are you going to use email for your team? In which case I recommend having everybody on your business's email. That way, there's some nice separation there. You can use a messenger service like Slack or Voxer. We had Voxer on the team too, where you're doing voice messages. I just found that a bit distracting during the day, but I can see the value in it. But yeah, if you are not an emailer and you are a little more extroverted and you want to have that feeling of chatting with the team, especially if you have a VA who's going to be your right-hand person, you might want to consider adding a layer of some kind of messaging, whether it's Voxer or Slack. Moving on to the other kind of middle thing here, which is storage. We use Google Drive, but there's also Dropbox and a few other services that you could use. I like Google Drive for that, and I'll show you. I'll share my screen. Okay, here we go. So this is our brand better. We've got a bunch of different folders, a top level. And then what I like about having kind of all of this, and then we go into like the clients, and we have like, our syncs and our resources and all of our current clients and past clients and all of that good stuff. I like Google Drive because one, I appreciate the way that it's laid out. I think that layout is really important for some of us, for me, definitely. I've tried other platforms before and just haven't been able to wrap my head around the layout of it. For some reason, Google Drive feels a bit more intuitive to me. So we have everything in folders. So I would say I would recommend having a place where you can store things. And the reason why we use Drive and not Asana to store all of our like important documents. And one is it's just easier when I get in here, I can create a Google Sheet if we're doing a launch or we've got our Facebook ads and there's a whole folder just about Facebook ads, and I can have Google Docs, and that has all of like the copy, and then I can put my pictures in there, and then I can put all of my spreadsheets and trackers. So I like Asana more for communication and for project management, but when it comes to creating the documents and keeping it all like stored and organized into folders, I much prefer Google Drive for that. So we kind of do a hybrid Asana and Google Drive to keep ourselves organized. I even use Google Drive for you can see a little snapshot here of a client design sync. We use just a spreadsheet within a Google Sheet to just kind of show like where all of our clients are and where the pipeline is for what part of the process are they moving into. Are they in design? Are they in copywriting? Are they in lead magnet development? I love the just kind of functionality, and I like kind of having everything right here. So we even use it for, I use QuickBooks for all of our financial stuff, but in here I have a spreadsheet that's just called Movement in the Business, and it has every client and payments, and is really old school. I'm not going to show that to you just because it's got some sensitive information on it in terms of our financial picture, but what I very old school. So everything gets recorded when a invoice comes in and gets paid. I just highlight the box light gray, and then that tells me that payment came in. And anything that isn't highlighted, I know that I'm waiting for that payment. And it's just for me to be able to go in at a glance and see like how much are we still owed from all of our clients. Now, QuickBooks will do all this too, but sometimes I like a little bit more. It's not quite pen to paper, but it has a little bit more of a like old school vibe to it. Anything else that we use Google Drive for? General storage, client documents, and I like to have folders for specific projects that we're working on and places where everybody on the team can kind of just drop some information. So the last part in keeping organized and tools that we use and love to stay organized is project management. Now we use Asana for that. This is my Asana account, but you can see that we've got like lots of people on our team are here in Asana. So every time there's a new person that comes in, we automatically, add them to our Asana. And you can give people access to, we can see all the people on our team, and you can give people access to lots of different folders within. So we've got a client high level, project management high level, our podcast team, and business development. But there's also like things that only I can see. So that's what I like. One of the things I like about Asana is I can create private boards. So if I'm working in development of something, but I don't want or need everybody to have access to it, I can do that. We don't really use this client facing. What I mean by that is this is like project management specifically for our team. Even though you could invite your clients in here, we just use it internally with a few exceptions. Sometimes like clients are in here, but it's very rare. What I like this for, what I use this for. So each client gets their own folder. They get their own project. And so, but I can also kind of sync it up through the boards where I can see like every client of kind of like make where they're at, branding, and who's in copywriting, and who's in PDF, and who's in web design. So there's lots of different ways you can use this as a calendar as well. In fact, I will show you. Sorry, just gotta find this. Oh yeah, content creation. So within content creation, this is our social media manager who uses this to schedule out all of our posts. So she uses this to put all the information that she needs to then post it to Facebook and Instagram. And she uses the calendar feature. Whereas if you go into, say, one of our clients, let's pick somebody who is already done. You can see that we just go through and we just check off all of the different pieces of the project. And it gives me a good sense of where everything is. So we use this, the inbox. I think I'm at inbox E0. So that means that I processed everything for the day. All of the messages come from the team will come in here into my inbox. You can tag people in specific tasks, or you can send just like a DM to somebody on the team and tag them there. So I use this regularly to communicate every day with the team. I have my own tasks, which are things that like I need to process and go through. So you can set, so I use this both like for myself, for my personal work tasks. I use it to just keep myself organized every day about all of the things that I need to do, all the things, what am I doing here? I'm writing to the blah, 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 I'm doing this, doing that. And then I can see, so I use it individually and then use it to communicate with the team. And then I also use it to collect leads in our lead pipeline. That'll be people who like reached out to us. And then I move cards throughout to kind of show where people are in the lead pipeline. Do we need to follow up with them? Have they already had a sales call? Do they have a proposal? Are they deciding? Or have we won the contract or lost the contract? So we have a whole board just dedicated to a lead pipeline. And then we have a whole board dedicated to all of our clients at a glance to see where they're at. And then each client has their own board. So if you work with, you might be working, so we're a design agency, so obviously we have more deliverables that we're working with clients. But you may already have like Practice Better or something like that to keep your lead pipeline like organized. So you might not need Asana for that. So then Asana would just be the dashboard that you use to develop things with your team. So have your virtual assistant in here. Or even if you're just by yourself, have this be a place where you organize your to-do list and have it be a place where you create different folders based on projects. So I even have a folder on here that's called wish list, and that's all the ideas that I've had over the years, like things that we may never develop, but I am excited to maybe potentially develop. And I just keep them in there as tasks, and you can, within every task, let's show you this. And let's see here, just a random task. I can write descriptions. I can add things to it and, upload different like pictures and things like that. So I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else I really need to say. Let me stop sharing the screen. So, like I said, it's kind of a boring topic, but I know like not everybody gets really jazzed about keeping things organized and using systems. But I will say that investing in systems, investing the time in creating really good systems has been one of the most lucrative. I can tie back a lot of financial abundance and financial expansion from getting organized. And so I can't stress enough how important it is to have these systems, to have everybody on the team in the right place, knowing what they're working on, is just so incredibly important. And it could really, really push the needle forward in your business. And it gives you the confidence when you hire new people to be able to tell them exactly where things are and have the system stay input, basically. Okay, so that is it from me. I will see you guys back here next week as we continue through the tools we love. And I believe that next week we are focused on financial and operations tools. So that should be fun. And I will see you guys then. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.